out tonight. Lovers move, it'll make you feel alright. Breakfast with Bob. Oh, Macho Man. This is Breakfast with Bob, Wednesday edition. We are brought to you by EAS Sports Nutrition, Hoka One One, Polar, Oscar Wellness, VeloFix. We're going to be doing our championship edition at Four Seasons Hualalai, and we are airing on triathlonworld.com. Our next guest last year, sixth here in beautiful Kona, Susie Cheetham. How you doing, Susie?
I'm good. It's great to be here.
Now, this is a good bruise. That is great. So that's the broken arm race, right?
Yeah.
And what, Ironman South Africa, 70.3, January.
Yeah.
Great way to start the season. Coming off of Kona, sixth place.
Yeah.
And then, poof. What happened?
So I was raring to go. Beginning of the season, new sponsors, confidence high.
Yes.
Just coming down a hill, don't know what happened, 70 k's an hour, and I just, boom, straight off and landed on my elbow, skidded on my back, and I've got a nice, it's sort of a wonky shaped elbow now.
Wow, did you need stitches or?
Yeah, so I've got the lump in it is the wire they had to put a wire on it to pull the elbow back together.
That's always good for your swimming.
Yeah, it's always good. So yeah, I was really worried about being able to swim again, swim well.
Wait, did you finish this race?
Yeah, I did. So I crashed on the bike about 70, 80 kilometers into the ride. So at least it was towards the end.
Yeah.
And then I was, it's a new year, new sponsors. I've got to finish the race. So I got back into transition. They patched me up and I sort of shuffled the run.
But you finished.
Yeah, I finished. But it's quite a brutal race to finish the run. I mean, you go up this ridiculous hill, I think 3 times. So yeah, it wasn't the easiest.
No. But so if you look at the rest of the season, you still got second at Ironman South Africa. And how much time in between crash race and Ironman South Africa?
Yeah, so I think it was about 8 or 9 weeks.
Wow, not much.
I didn't swim for 6 weeks because my road rash was so deep. I didn't want to get the bone infected. I think I've heard of other athletes that break bones or have operations and have an infected bone, and then that becomes a real issue for that's like a year write-off. So I was really conscious of that I didn't get in the pool for 6 weeks. I think 2 and a bit weeks before the race I started swimming again, and then I actually had a great swim, and since then I've improved my swim quite substantially. I mean, I'm a much better swimmer now with my wire in than I was before.
So don't take that wire out.
I know, it's like a bionic arm.
Exactly, I love that. So how did it change things for you when you take sixth at the most important race in the world?
Yeah, I think going into Kona last year, I thought I had the potential to come top 10. Not many people did think that, and I think I was a surprise sixth.
Right.
I think that's fair to say.
Yes, very fair.
But after that, it was a great way to take the pressure off a little bit. I've been waiting for a race that I can prove to people that I was where I thought I was.
Right.
And that took the pressure off, and it made me realize that I can do well at Kona. I think I'm a better Ironman racer than I am 70.3 racer.
Yes.
So that's meant that I am focusing my year around Kona.
Around this race.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it's where you need to do well. It's it's the only place where you can race where no one's got any excuses. You can't say it's a B race. You can't say you're not aiming to get in the best shape possible for this race. It is the race to do well at. So, whether that happens on Saturday, I don't know. But I've given myself the best possible chance to do well on Saturday.
So when did you get into this sport? It wasn't that long ago.
No, so I did. I got into triathlon at the end of 2011.
Okay, just a few years. Okay.
Yeah, and I stuck with 70.3 racing because it was a long way from what I was doing before. It seemed like a very long way. And then I did my first full Ironman 2 years ago. and that was at Ironman Barcelona.
Yeah.
And since then, this will be my 5th Ironman on Saturday.
Okay.
So I'm still learning, but I feel like I'm a much
6th place is you've learned pretty fast.
Yeah, that was actually my 3rd Ironman. So,
yes.
Yeah. So I really enjoy the distance.
What is it about the distance? Is it just the fact that you can sort of relax a little bit? You don't have to worry about making a move right now?
Yeah, I think you have to be clever racing Ironman.
Yeah.
You have to be patient, and you can't go all out from the gun.
No.
And
you can, but you pay for it.
You can.
Yeah.
I'm not planning to.
No.
And hopefully that will pay off with a good back end of the race.
Yeah.
I'm my strength is probably my run, and I think that shows in Ironman, but I'm not. That doesn't show. I find that harder to show in a half Ironman.
I think the 70.3 has almost become the new Olympic distance.
Yeah.
It is. People are. You go for it.
Yeah.
As soon as the first swim stroke, you're racing the bike like a crit. You're going full bore the entire time.
Yeah. Your eyes are popping out.
Exactly.
From the start, you're redlining it, and that it's really tough. And stepping up to Ironman, I was terrified. It was such a long way.
Yes.
But actually, I find it it's just so different.
Yeah.
I find it suits me better. I want to say it's a much easier format of racing. It's not. It's just really different. It just suits me better.
Well, and the mental side of it plays a big role too, because everybody's going to have bad patches out there.
Absolutely.
Right? You're going to have some patches where you're going, oh my God, what was I thinking?
Yeah.
But it's who handles those best and who makes use of those to help them further down the line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think I deal with those dark places well. You've got to. You can't. Yeah, I mean.
I think I deal with those dark places well. I like that, but that's really true. You have to be able to do that.
You've got to be able to. But then again, most of the field will deal with them well.
Yes.
And you don't know what this island's going to throw at you. Maybe I had less dark patches last year than some of the others, and that meant that I could deal with fewer dark patches and ultimately finish a good race for me. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know how many dark places you're going to have, and you don't know if you're going to come out the other side of the dark patch.
Right.
So, for me, I just deal with what I'm thrown on the day the best I can, and hopefully that will mean I can finish in a good place.
In a podium. That would be nice.
That would be great.
That would be great.
I'd be very happy.
When you look back at last year's race, what did you do well?
I think I was patient.
Yeah.
I didn't, I think I had the slowest bike out of the top 10. And that, whether I could have biked faster, I probably could have. But then I couldn't have had the overall...
The run.
You
pay up one way or the other.
Exactly. It's all a balancing act. And for me, my focus is to get to the finish line fastest. It's not to
win the bike ride?
Yeah, it's not to get the fastest split. It's allowing my ego to accept that I'm not the strongest biker in the field.
Right.
And there's some ridiculously strong girls out there on the bike. And though some of those ridiculously strong girls will push the girls that aren't as good to the point where they'll blow up on the run.
Yes.
And that's what I love about Ironman racing. There's so much that can happen. It's such a long day.
It's the ultimate chess game. Now, where did you come off the bike place-wise? Do you remember?
Yeah, so last year I came off the bike in 16th, and I ran my way through to 6th position.
To 6th position.
So, and do you know what's the funny thing is? I didn't feel like I was running well. And Alihi Drive, nothing changed really.
Really, everybody stayed in. Usually, to be honest, except for someone like Rinny running through everybody else.
Yeah.
Usually, the gals are sort of running about the same. A lot of gals are running that 306, 307, and they're there.
Yeah.
But once you get out into the Queen, once you go up Palani, everything changes.
Yeah.
Don't you think? Is that what happened with you?
Yeah, and Palani's a shock. I didn't know before I came here how steep Palani was. That's
right.
Shock.
Last year's your first time.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're like, what is this street again? Oh, Palani. Oh, this is the one with the hill.
Yeah, and it was steep, and it still is steep apparently. So yeah, I mean, once you're out in the Queen K, there's so much that can change, and it's a long way.
Yes.
From Palani back to Palani, and you feel that. The worst thing for me, finishing that run, was I was in 6th position towards the end of the that last slight hill that you come up to the top of Palani.
Yes.
And I was in 6th position. And I think it was Heather Jackson was ahead of me in 5th. And,
yes.
I wasn't going to catch her in the last, I think, 1 kilometre, 2 kilometres or so. I wasn't going to catch her. I saw my husband. He said, "You're not going to catch 5th position. It's your first Kona. Enjoy it. Enjoy a Leahy drive. Enjoy the finishing shoot. The next position isn't going to catch you." And so I started to relax.
Shut it down,
and, I was enjoying a Leahy drive until somehow I think Rob, my husband, pulled off the run of his life back down to Leahy Drive. I saw him with probably 500 meters to go, and he was sweating, saying, "7th place is running fast. You need to go now." And it was the worst finish of my life. It was just the most.
Because you'd already shut it down.
It was horrible. You're on your last legs. You've run the whole race in these blistering conditions. You're finished. And I was so happy to enjoy that finishing shoot, and I didn't at all. I was I say I was sprinting. I wasn't actually going that fast, but at the time it was taking a lot out of my body.
The worst thing in the world is to shut it down and be doing the Rose Bowl wave and the rest of it, and kissing babies. And the next thing you know,
I'm
God,
trying to sprint.
You're trying to sprint towards the finish.
Yeah.
So after getting 6th last year, you mentioned sponsors. Did that entice some new sponsors? Did it help you out?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, my support last year was fairly limited. I just quit my job in sort of after Ironman South Africa of that year, so April 2015, because I thought, okay, I think I want to put all my eggs in one basket. I want to focus on Kona 2015 and see what I can do.
Yes.
So I just quit my job, taken that leap of faith that actually I could maybe be good, but I didn't have that support. So after my 6th place last year, it's made it a lot easier. I think there was a lot more interest in me, and I've got
there should be.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've got some great sponsors now, and really, really supportive, financially, but also I'm on the best kits. I've got that support that I didn't have last year. Right down to the just helping me on a daily basis on these couple of weeks leading into Kona. It makes a real difference.
It does make a difference.
It's not that pressure completely on my direct team. It's a helping hand, and it does make a difference.
You've only been in this for a couple of years. Do you feel you're at a place where, things break right? There's no reason I can't be on a podium here.
Yeah, I think I'd say I'm an outside chance for a podium.
Yeah.
I'd have to have a brilliant race,
which you are capable of doing.
Yeah, I'm a better athlete than I was last year. I'm faster across
all three
disciplines. I'm a better triathlete. I'm a year wiser in Ironman racing. So that I'm not ruling it out, and I'm optimistically, thinking that it is possible and that I will be chasing that podium.
Love it.
But I will have to have the perfect race for that.
Well, and the other thing about this race, it's really, we talk heat and wind, but the competition is unbelievable.
It's the best in the world, and there's new contenders. For me, Rinny is a new contender because last year she wasn't here. She dropped out on the bike. So for me,
Melissa Hulshut,
she'll be up there, and for me, it's. The race, I wish I could watch it as well, because I think the race is
going to be amazing
for the win between those three, and maybe a few others.
Yeah.
I think it will be a really exciting race.
I love it.
Yeah,
and hopefully you'll be right in there.
I mean, to watch Rinny and Mel duke it out on the run, that's going to be a really exciting race.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for taking time.
Thanks for having me on.
Always fun to have you. I'm glad this thing's okay. And so you just had drug tests right before this.
Yeah, I did. I've just come on. I'm Thanks for the plaster, because I was bleeding everywhere.
I love that. We love blood. Blood on our set is always good. Poncho Man, take us out.
There's a moon out tonight, lover's moon. It'll make you feel alright. Breakfast with Bob.
Poncho Man.